Oh, what's up, everybody? It's another beautiful day. Kind of cloudy, but nonetheless, it's a nice, beautiful spring day. Mm. Oh, y'all, I know what I wanted to come in here and talk to y'all about is another topic y'all had asked about is like traveling abroad. Um, there's a few places I want to go this year, but it will be in here in the U.S. of A. But let me just share my thoughts on traveling abroad and just traveling, period. Always Google and or gather information on where you're going, especially when you know you're going to be away from, let's say, family or your comfortable zone, if you will, your everyday stuff. Um, whether you're traveling with someone, whether you're traveling alone, get a feel of where you're going. Uh, I even sometimes when I go and travel, I always look to see, what's the best time to travel on Highway 95 or Interstate 95 rather, or whatever interstate you're going to be spending a lot of time on. What's a good time to travel? Now, of course, when you're traveling, you may not have the luxury of being able to pick and choose what time to travel. It may be that you have to be on the road during specific rush hours, whether that's morning rush hour, uh, during lunchtime, or evening going home rush hour. But if you have the luxury where you can, pick and choose the time that you're going to travel, if you're traveling by car, even if you're traveling by airplane, bus, train, um, if you have the luxury to pick and choose when's the best time to book a flight, when's the best time, all that stuff is pretty much available to us online. So I think just like anything else, there's a prepared place for prepared people. Just prep yourself in advance for those little things. If you know you're traveling on specific highways, find out what the tolls are. Uh, so you have your change ready, or make sure you have dollars or however. That way you're not surprised. Some of us, again, cash is king. I know some of people may wonder, when I was talking about banking and withdrawing large sums amount of money and how that can trigger the bank, just depending on whatever that threshold is. If you withdraw a certain amount of money out of your banking, they have to trigger the federal government, just as a precaution to make sure that nothing funny is going on. And they'll monitor your mess, and if they feel like something wiggity whack's going on, yeah, they'll freeze your stuff if you're making unusual activity. And that's a good thing, because I mean, when you think about it, in the grand scheme of thing, I have alerts set up for all of my banking that if something go to the wiggity 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 whack, yeah, my bank's gonna contact me. So those little facets are in place to protect us as consumers, because what we live in a day and age where folks will snatch up your identity right quick, and you look up and you got a house or a car or a credit card opened up and you don't know nothing about it. Isn't that the truth? Oh my God, I bind that spirit in the name of Jesus too. But honestly, so when you're doing anything, especially with traveling, find out those things that may be applicable to you and your family. Find out the if you have to take your pet, find out what the pet accommodations are. And again, I'm gonna tell you the truth. You'd be surprised how many people don't check that stuff out, and then when they because they just assume there's things in place. Again, even people who have to fly with pets, you better check and make sure that that container or that pet carry all that you have for your pet. It might have worked over there on American Airlines, but baby, if you flying Delta, they might have a whole nother get down or a whole nother terms and conditions of what you can put your pooch in. I mean, some people get their feelings hurt. They say, well, I flew American and we were able to keep it in this cage or that. But no, not over here on Delta or United or, whatever aircraft carrier of your choice is, depending on where you're going. Those little bitty things, because I mean, I've had friends and I've heard people just talk, just being out there on the internet, honey. What was permissible for one hotel chain or airline or bus, we don't do that. And I'm gonna tell you another thing too about traveling abroad. I know in America we have that freedom, and we pretty much know, some of us, again, those of us who are paying attention, we pretty much know the laws in all 52 of our states, 50 states, and most of it is, fluid throughout every state. Now, you can go to some states and their laws may not be as strict, or their laws that are a little bit more relaxed or lenient, but for the most part, what is permissible in one state is pretty much permissible in most states. But again, you need to check it out. Like if you have personal protective devices, make sure that, okay, if I'm going to New York, New Jersey, Virginia, South Carolina, California, you better make sure that pepper spray, you're allowed to have that pepper spray there, or whatever, you know what I'm saying, or a kitty knuckle or a Kubotan. Those things, when you're traveling, because I'm gonna tell you, here recently in the news, and I think it was Caicos, and don't quote me, y'all. Anyway, a family traveled to Turks and Caicos, and for whatever reason, they didn't look in their luggage properly. So whenever they got ready to, I don't know, either on the way there, getting there, or either on the way back, I can't remember exactly the details, but what I do remember is that the in their luggage there was some loose bullets found, and baby, they had passed a law, or there's a law over there in Turks and Caicos. If you have any type of firearm or any type of paraphernalia like that, automatic, I think they said 10 or 12 years in the slammer, baby. So I know right now, and I haven't looked recently to see what the outcome of the update, that man, they released his family, but the husband, he's still over there awaiting sentencing. And so he just said, you know what, because they questioned him and asked him, well, didn't you know that was in your luggage, didn't you? And see, though, again, traveling abroad, it's not so much if it's obvious. When you're traveling the United States, they'll put out an all points bulletin, especially if you're going somewhere that requires a passport. They'll say, hey, this region of the world, this area is pretty hot right now. You might not want to travel to wherever, because it's unstable. There's war going on over there. Like, for instance, Ukraine. If you might not want to travel to Ukraine right now, or any of these places where it's a lot of hot instability going on. Israel, may not want to go to Israel right now. So if you've got plans, you better be checking. Now, I know there might be certain little parts and areas that are okay, but those are the things that you really need to check out. And again, look, do a shaker, a shimmy shake of your luggage to make sure that you ain't got nothing in there that don't need to be in there. Because again, when you get out of these United States of America, you better make sure that you're not breaking those laws, because again, traveling abroad, we have that freedom, that sense of security here at home. But baby, when you're traveling abroad, what you think is just simple and should be permissible There, they got a whole nother get down. Again, ask those athletes that went over there. You remember when them swimmers went over there and started fooling around with that? I can't remember which part of Asia they were in, but they were snatching down banners and got in trouble over there. And same way with folk that went to, I think a young lady went to Dubai. She was just simply wanting to take a picture in their little fountain. Oh, honey, she learned quick. You can't do that over here. And honey, she had to serve, I think it was like what, 20 or 30 days in the slammer, because you just can't go over there and do certain things. You have to respect. It could be for religious things, it could be because of a law, but you have to remember now, when you're traveling abroad, don't throw caution to the wind. And again, read up on where you're going to make sure, okay, am I allowed to walk on the left side of the street or the right side of the street? Am I going to a country where, as a female, my head and everything got to be covered? The only thing that can be seen are my eyes. I'm just telling you. And you may want to be able to experience and go and travel to different cultures and stuff and look at this beautiful world that God has created. But again, on top of that, you better be making sure that you don't do stuff. Some places you can't be all loud and carrying on in public. I mean, I'm just telling you. Some public, public displays of affection. There's some places you can't do all that. So, I mean, like I said, but the wonderful thing is that if you're prepared for it, hey, you already know. Govern yourself accordingly. But yeah, those are the most things that I can say about when you're traveling abroad, because everything else really you should know as just a human being. Respect others, respect other spaces, people's spaces. Don't be infringing on somebody else's comfortability level just because you want it to be all about you. You just govern yourself accordingly. You scan and measure your surroundings and do like you're supposed to. But like I said, anything that you're excited about going, whether it's booking a cruise, do a little bit more homework and research so that you don't find yourself infringing upon others and or breaking laws or having a tort or infraction that you committing and you just didn't know. Because I'm gonna tell you again, don't we learn that here, even in the United States? Baby, ignorance of the law doesn't protect you. Now, what it will do, it'll cause you to have some serious money to get yourself out of some trouble. But yeah, I look at, and we've all have seen it on different news. For those of us who stay on current events and just happen to be watching news, and they show us things going on in different countries. And again, just like this situation with this family that traveled to Turks and Caicos, and he didn't even know he had bullets in his luggage. Well, that's another reminder to people who like to have protective things with them for self-protection. Make sure wherever you're going, make sure that kind of stuff is permissible, because it might be okay here in North Carolina, but if I gotta go travel to Virginia or cross over different states and they happen to have they checking licenses and registration because they're doing a click it or ticket campaign, and you think what you got in your car is okay, and they say not in the state of Virginia, you can't have that. Or not coming to South Carolina, you can't have that. Or if you do have it, do you have a permit to have this or have that? See, that's the other thing. You need to check some of these states. Yeah, you can have a pepper spray, or you can have a kitty knuckle, or you can have a cool baton, but you got to go to your local municipality and get a permit. I was reading up, a friend of mine, me and her happened to be talking about something about drones. Yeah, certain ordinances, you got to have a license. It ain't but about $5 or $10, just depending on. Find out, because if you're found to be using a certain type of drone and you're flying it above a certain height, distance rather. It's little bitty things, and you find out people get in trouble behind that kind of stuff. You think, well, doggone, it's just I'm just flying. It's just like when we were little, we would fly the little electric airplane. Yeah, but it's different now, honey. We're in a whole nother get now, and there are new laws on the books as it pertains to that kind of stuff. People get a little nervous when they see drones. They think you're, filming and surveilling their homes, and they get a little bit. And next thing you know, they done called the law on you, and come to find out, they say, okay, well, have you registered this drone? And you can get fined. And I mean, again, it's just certain things you have to be aware of when you introduce them to, something you're doing. And I think that's so important for people who are traveling abroad. Make sure you have done your due diligence in checking the different laws, the little things that you want to do. Make sure that mess is permissible over there. Your little gadgets and your little filming equipment, make sure that stuff is legitimate, and make sure that it's permissible and it's not breaking any of their laws. Because again, it may be okay here, but certain cameras, certain filming equipment, they might say, this is not allowed, and they confiscate your $2,000 and $3,000 camera. I'm telling you, it has happened to people. Some places you can't have a certain amount of cash on you. I'm just telling you. I mean, and like I said, it's not important to you until it happens to you. So the important thing to remember when you're traveling anywhere, check the terms and conditions. Read that fine print stuff. Make sure that you are covered. So if something go to the left, hey, you're good. And you got to come up with no extra. And that's another thing too, I think it's important too. Whenever you're traveling, don't be traveling without no money, or at least access to some funds, because you don't never know what might happen. Now I know when I talk and I do my doing me's, and I know I'm going to 1 or 2 cities over, and I might say, you know what, I might only spend about $20, but you can bet your bottom dollar I have access to my other funds. Y'all understand. I just do that as a, hey, a lot of times when we're traveling or you want to do something, it don't take a whole lot of money, but trust when I tell you, when you know you are going here or there, you better have, whoever you need to have on speed dial. If your mess break down, you got your roadside assistance. That's what I mean too, because again, you never know what can happen. So again, don't just be out there, butt naked. And I don't mean in the physical. I'm talking about being out somewhere stranded, bucket naked, and you can't get somewhere and get a phone call through to somebody. Yeah, so again, when we're doing things all in the name of fun or leisure, we have to really think about those little small things, because honey, them little small things, ain't it sometimes the little small things that'll snag you up? Oh yes, it's them little small things that'll snag you up. And so anyway, yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. And again, most stuff is common sense, but then most stuff is not common knowledge, that is. Most things are common sense, but some things are not common knowledge either. And so it's best to always prepare yourself when you're getting ready to do this. And like I said, it'd be the little simplest things that you said, man, I should have checked that out. I should have looked into that a little bit more. What, you mean to tell me y'all don't do this? Or what, you mean to tell? Yeah, but it's little things like that. So that's why it's good to just plan. Now, I ain't talking about like little everyday stuff, but like, yeah, when you know you're going to be away from home for a couple of 2 or 3 days, baby, I look at certain things. You can never be too overly prepared. You really can't, honestly. Just like some people say, oh, I hate people who over communicate. Sometimes, you know what? Unless it's confusion, I don't think you can ever over communicate anything. Some things are worth repeating. Absolutely. So yeah, as y'all are traveling, or as we are traveling, a lot of people travel all throughout the year, but of course, being that we're coming up on the summer, kids get out for school, so as families, we're better able to plan and get things on the books, uh, get our vacation on, get our outings on. Sometimes it bears important enough to do that extra. Do that little extra wherever you're going to be lodging at. Make sure, if you got small children, make sure you got things available there that you know that you need to cater to those small children. That's one of the things, when I remember when we first went to Disney World, and way back in the day, when I thought, and I said, man, Disney World, y'all have thought of everything, because they had a child's mind and heart in their, in planning, and there's some things that I'm sure they've added to and put in along the way. Any and everything. Oh yeah. I'm thinking, man, I would have never thought of that. But yeah, they're just certain things that they do. And I'm sure some mothers who, as we progress and evolve as a society, there's probably some things that mothers say, hey, why don't y'all do this? Why don't y'all implement this? So trust and believe. Some of the things that they had in place for children and amenities and stuff, I'm like, man, they thought of everything. Things you wouldn't even thought of. But again, because of who they're catering to. So you just think about that when you're traveling. Think about things that that you may happen to need. I think about my mother now. I get tickled because now sometimes when I go out my house and I know I will be gone here and there, and I thought, man, I got everything but the kitchen sink in my pocketbook. Well, I used to always pick up my mother because I'm like, Mama, good God Almighty, your purse seem like your purse weigh 100 pounds. Yeah, because as you get older, or just as things that you're gonna need, and sometimes it's not even about age, it's just about wisdom. Again, thinking about if you got 2 or 3 children with you, you got to have little get downs. And I remember I used to sit back and watch women. They would have this is before I had my son, or I would just sit back, as a little girl, you just think about, man, mama had everything in that pocketbook, didn't they? But see, now I know. Now I'm at that age where I'm thinking, honey, I have to have my little Kleenex, my little wipes, my little toothpicks, my little this and different types of lip. Oh, honey, yeah. And so I be thinking, yeah, my pocketbook's starting to weigh about 50 pounds. So anyway, y'all, always as normal, traveling abroad, traveling right here in your own neck of the woods, there's a prepared place for prepared people. Ain't that awesome? That's why the word is so awesome. You can apply that to everything in your life. Oh my God. Anyway, y'all, all right, this is a video a day in May. Y'all have a good one. And there's upcoming Mother's Day. Yes. Happy Mother's Day to all mothers. Amen. Whether you biologically a mother, or in spirit or in duty, happy Mother's Day. Amen. All right, y'all. God bless, and may the peace of the Lord be with you.